We're tracking breaking news. Crews have recovered a body from waters off West Oahu, believed to be a missing teenage diver. Honolulu Fire Department personnel found the body around 7:20 this morning between Kaena Point and Yokohama Bay, approximately 200 yards offshore. Family members said 15-year-old Noe Lima was last seen Tuesday morning. They said he went out on a kayak to go fishing before he disappeared. It's Wednesday, May 13th, and you're watching This Is Now on HNN.
Good afternoon. Thank you for watching This Is Now. I'm your director-producer, Jonathan, alongside Ashley. We're still awaiting those latest numbers from the Department of Health. If we do get them in the next few minutes, of course, we'll pass them along to you in this newscast. In the meantime, we're going to get to some other news.
That's right. Happening now, another free food distribution is underway at Aloha Stadium. The event will started at 10 and will go until supplies last. Like we've seen every week, people were lining up in their cars hours ahead of time. The event is expected to provide food to roughly 4,000 households, and it's the latest food drive to be held in recent days, with each one drawing thousands, a clear sign of the times. Now, the weekly distributions are made possible by the Hawaii Food Bank, the City and County of Honolulu, Bank of Hawaii, and the Hawaii Community Foundation.
Now, a leading model for projected COVID-19 deaths in the U.S. has once again raised the estimated death toll. This as some states continue to reopen. We got Michael George in New York. He filed this report.
The beaches in Los Angeles reopened for exercise and swimming Wednesday.
It's a sign of the times. It's a sign that we're slowly opening back up, so very encouraging.
But sitting and sunbathing are still off limits. Beaches in Naples, Florida also reopened Wednesday with restrictions.
It's so nice. It's so calm.
And in Arizona, gyms and swimming pools are back open. As states ease restrictions, projections from the University of Washington now estimate 147,000 Americans could die from coronavirus by early August. That's 10,000 more deaths than a previous prediction just 2 days ago. North Carolina, New York, and Massachusetts are among the states where projections have increased.
This is not a virus to be trifled with.
It could be a long while before New York City fully reopens. The president of the city's transit system is asking employers to let people work from home or stagger shifts to prevent overcrowding on the subways. New York is also investigating more than 100 reported cases of an inflammatory disease in children related to COVID-19, including 9-year-old Bobby Dean of Rochester, New York.
70% of the cases went into ICU.
One of those children, 8-year-old Jaden Hardawar, returned to his Queens home 3 weeks after he went into cardiac arrest.
It seems to be actually a post-infectious syndrome where the immune system is hyperactive, and it leads to inflammation of the heart muscle or the arteries of the body.
I'm walking out of here!
And a nurse who retired in January from Mount Sinai Hospital, only to find herself back there in March as a COVID-19 patient, left the hospital Tuesday amid cheers from her former colleagues. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
Oahu retailers are hoping customers will come back once sales resume on Friday. And as Mahealani Richardson reports, customers will see a lot of changes, including how many people can enter a store.
The rule is one person allowed per 200 square feet, so this store could fit a total of 11 workers and customers.
At the HIC store in Kapolei Commons,
right now we're really busy just trying to get everything ready.
Employees mop the floors, wipe down the vents.
We're cleaning like we've never cleaned before.
And disinfected merchandise.
We want to keep our employees safe, obviously, but we also want to create a safe environment where customers do feel comfortable.
We have the blue markers we've put on the floors, and then we made this beautiful plexiglass, even though we're going to have masks on, so double protection.
A couple of doors down at Cookies, it was a family affair getting the store ready for Friday's reopening.
We have extra masks if somebody comes in and breaks it. We have gloves for everyone, and our employees will be wearing these too.
Masks, sanitizer, and sneeze guards are the new norm, and under city guidelines, fitting rooms must remain closed.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard on the customers. It's going to be hard to do business, but we'll just try to make the best of it.
So we're also going to have to kind of police customers from trying stuff on within the store.
Retailers say there's confusion on returns since there's no government policy. Some are not accepting returns, while others are accepting it, but waiting 1 to 3 days for the items to go back on the shelf.
Many retailers are holding sales to welcome their customers back and think that customers will be testing the waters for quite some time to determine if they feel safe. Reporting from Kapolei, I'm Mahealani Richardson, Hawaii News Now.
Now here at home, most hotels have agreed to one-time use room keys. That means if a visitor leaves their room during the mandatory 14-day quarantine, they'll need to check in with the front desk to get another key. From there, the hotel can contact law enforcement. About 100 hotels are still open across the state. We're told the Tourism Authority is working on a list of hotels that are not participating in the room key program.
State lawmakers say screening at Hawaii's airports is still being ramped up. Senator Donovan Dela Cruz says transportation officials are revamping the visitor form to require more information about a person's stay. We're told those forms will be used soon. They'll have to be filled out by everyone arriving at a Hawaii airport, including flight crews. The State Transportation Department reportedly needs 114 more workers for a comprehensive screening system at Honolulu's Daniel K. Inouye International Airport alone. Lawmakers say prosecutors are requesting electronic tracking bracelets for visitors who break quarantine.
Now there's new research out today that shows that people are starting to fly again. The numbers are not huge, but those planes are filling up. Of course, there's concern about social distancing. CNN's Pete Muntean reports.
Packed-in passengers might not be the norm right now, according to major airlines, but more scenes like this are raising new concerns about whether you can maintain social distancing while flying. Change or cancel a trip because of coronavirus, and you are not entitled to a refund, according to new guidance just laid out by the Department of Transportation. It says you can get your money back within a week if it is the airline that cancels, but if you cancel, what you get back is up to the airline. In the U.S., more than half of all airliners are now parked, but more passengers are stepping on board a shrinking fleet. The number of people passing through security has climbed to the highest level in 6 weeks.
So we're already seeing visiting friends and relatives, kind of our backbone of our business. We're already seeing that start to come back, but it's at a very small level.
United Airlines will now warn passengers if a flight is near capacity and let them rebook, even though it stresses that most flights are less than half full. All major airlines are now mandating that passengers wear masks, but are not guaranteeing that every middle seat will be empty.
We need federal rules.
High-ranking House Democrats say there is inconsistency and uncertainty in airline policies and want federal agencies to act.
I think that we should look carefully at whether or not we require distancing on airplanes, and that could require leaving middle seat open.
In a statement to CNN, the FAA says its authority lies in safe operation of aircraft and that it is lending aviation expertise to health officials and airlines. Airline workers want more intervention.
And there's a smart way to do this. We need to ensure that we're doing everything we can to prevent unnecessary additional preventable risk for our passengers.
Without federal mandates, industry groups say each airline is coming up with its own protocols. Frontier, for instance, will do temperature checks at the gate and may turn you away with a fever higher than 100.4.
We believe you're safer on board Frontier and most airlines, for that matter, than most enclosed buildings.
And we just got in those new numbers from the State Department of Health. They are reporting today 3 new COVID-19 cases, bringing the statewide total to 638. More than 90% of those patients have recovered from isolation, and Hawaii's death toll stands at 17.
All right, a lot of people are wondering about this, that of course being the unemployment claims. Let's check in with State Labor Director Scott Murakami. He was on Sunrise this morning.
Scott, let's start here. There have been changes that have been made. You have assigned days to file based off your last name, and other things that have been put in place. How are things going at this point?
So I am happy to announce that we are taking a higher number of weekly certifications from claimant. So to give you an example, what happened on Sunday. On Saturday, we released the second half of our migration of our weekly certification and the portal to our new SQL environment. And that allowed us Sunday to take approximately just shy of 65,000 weekly certifications. In the past, we would take on a Sunday, the most we took was just shy of, I believe it was 45,000. So we know that the capacity has grown, which means that it would allow for the medical listing to work much more efficiently. I can tell you yesterday from A through G, the alphabets for A through G, that seemed to work pretty well. About 48% of the people who filed certifications on Monday were for the last names of A through G. The remaining 52% from other alphabets. But I would imagine, it takes some time for the community to regain confidence in what we've done and file at the appropriate time. So I'm going to give that a little more time, maybe another week or so, to kind of get a better assessment of how the alphabetical weekly certification filings are working.
Yeah. Scott, at the same time, as much as progress has been made, there are about 75,000 people that are still waiting to get their claims processed. How quickly can you get to that? Do you have a timetable when you can ensure that everyone that's waiting can get their money?
Sure. So what it looks like, we're burning down about just over 3,000 of the errors that are in filing and the filings that are in process per day. So the 75,000 days, trying to accelerate that as much as possible. But that's what it looks like. It looks like, just by doing the simple math, it looks like about 24 days. I do have to let people know that some of those issues are very complex. And again, these are things at that higher level we need to adjudicate. So we have to do some fact finding and whatnot. But at least at the current pace we're on and the number of personnel that we have, it seems to be coming down at about just over 3,000 a day.
Okay, and so just to clarify, the people that will eventually get their claims, they will get paid for the weeks that they missed, right?
You're absolutely correct, Steve. Assuming that they're eligible and that everything works out right, all of those individuals will get their back, all of the back benefits, even if they go back to work. We will make sure that they're made whole for the period in which they were unemployed.
Okay. One of the big questions that we've had, actually, I guess it's more of a complaint, is about the people answering calls, that they don't know what they're doing, they don't have answers to the questions. How well are these workers trained, and how much are you working on a day-to-day basis to make sure that they can actually do something to help the people that are calling?
So, we are taking in now, I think yesterday, the day before, we took in about 1,900 calls. So, and those are, a lot of them are issues being answered. Some of the issues that we encounter from claimants are very complicated issues that cannot get addressed right away. So they're the issues that need to be adjudicated. And for those, we have to go through our due process of making sure that both the employer and the claimant have the opportunity to necessary information that we need. And so for situations like that, it's going to be a little more challenging. I do want to say thank you very much to the people who have volunteered, because in a very short time, they've been asked to, get proficient not only in the phone system we have, because we did implement a new phone, but also in their ability to process claims for us, utilize our system. So I think they're doing a great job for us. I understand that they won't have all the answers, especially for the more difficult kinds of situations that our claimants may find themselves in. But I want to say thank you to them for their great work.
All right, let's move on now. It's been weeks, and some household essentials like disinfectant wipes and other cleaning products haven't made their ways back to the store shelves. There's a reason for that, because what started as hoarding has now turned into an international supply chain problem. Naomi Ruckham explains. Here's her report.
When the coronavirus outbreak reached American shores, consumers quickly snagged any cleaning products they could find. And months later, shelves with cleaning sprays, disinfectant wipes, and hand sanitizer are still bare.
The issue is what happened in the beginning, right at the start of the coronavirus outbreak, the panic buying.
But supply chain expert and Syracuse University professor Patrick Penfield says that was only the first problem. What happened next was a series of international supply chain hiccups, starting with a full stop on shipments of critical ingredients from China.
We're very dependent on supplies from China, especially from a shipment standpoint. So we had no ships coming from the ports.
While big brands have ramped up production, Professor Penfield doesn't expect U.S. stores will have these products fully stocked until late summer. With wipes at stores sold out, some people are taking matters into their own hands.
Of general household bleach, and we're going to add that to the water.
YouTube is chock full of recipes and demonstrations for DIY cleaning supplies.
You start to pick it up.
And in Portland, Oregon, mom, craftswoman, and now business owner Ariel Russell is making reusable disinfectant wipes and selling them on Etsy. She's already sold out 3 times.
And you just pluck one out, disinfect, and then it goes through the wash and reuse them. Stick them back in.
Business has grown so much, she's hired 4 seamstresses, and she's expecting more orders with availability at stores still slim. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
Now, the pandemic is also having an impact on the gaming world. For example, if you were looking to buy a Nintendo Switch, you might have to wait a little while because the company is reportedly having trouble getting some of the essential parts for the console due to the lockdowns in Malaysia and the Philippines. Now, Nintendo was forecasted to sell 19 million Switches this year, but that probably isn't going to happen. Most markets are sold out of the console after the success of social simulation video game series Animal Crossing.
Yeah, they're not the only tech company having problems getting their product out there either. Apple's also had reports about that as well. Next story coming up is a really good one, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. An Eva Beach man, who is really one of the state's first patients, is still in the hospital, still in the ICU, but yesterday he celebrated his 38th birthday, and it was a very special one. And Lynn Kawano reports why and how his family hopes to give him a real birthday party very soon.
Kobe Torta took his first steps in almost 2 months. It was exhausting, but a milestone in his recovery.
Balloons, pictures, and a banner fill Kobe Torta's room at Kaiser Permanente. His family still can't be in the room, so they brought decorations for staff to hang.
Just to brighten up his room a little bit, make it a more of a special day for him.
It takes so much for us not to break in and run up to the 4th floor and just get a peek of him and wave at him.
The Waikiki bartender was in a medically induced coma on a ventilator for 6 weeks after he was diagnosed with COVID-19.
We wanted to make this short video just to show you everything that's happened.
Stapes made this video for him so loved ones could update him on what he's missed.
Happy birthday!
And offer birthday greetings.
Happy birthday, Kobe!
Happy birthday, Kobe! We love you. We miss you.
It was also a way to thank the healthcare workers by his side. Torta has lost 80 pounds and he still cannot eat.
It's difficult for him to talk. I think it's a little bit painful.
He's been texting us that he wants to eat Popeye's sandwich, he wants to eat Filipino food, he wants to eat Sam's Club cupcake.
The family says it will be at least another week or 2 before he can come back home to Eva Beach for a family birthday celebration. I'm Lynn Kawano, Hawaii News Now.
I don't know if it's good medicine, but Sam's Club cupcakes and Popeye
sandwiches.
Yes. Let's get to some positive news, folks. Some more positive news.
So Spain's oldest woman has survived coronavirus. This is Maria Brañas. She's 113 years old and may have become the oldest survivor of COVID-19. Now, she contracted the virus shortly after her family visited her in March to celebrate her 113th birthday. Brañas has lived through 2 world wars, the 1918 flu pandemic, which killed more than 50 million people around the world.
Here she's doing better.
Yes, and some people like Jonathan are turning to puzzles to pass the time during the coronavirus era. But if you're looking for a big challenge than your standard puzzle, check out this red monster from Heinz Ketchup. Now, it has 570 pieces, a nod to the brand's 57 varieties of sauces, and in the exact same shade of ketchup red.
Hard.
Definitely a challenge for puzzle lovers, and the company recently gave away 57 of them in a social media contest. What do you think, John?
Too hard for me. Our reporter friend Casey Lund and I did a puzzle recently. It was a Disney puzzle because it was the only one we could find. They're hard to come by. And it ended up looking sort of like this because we got down to one piece missing.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, with this one, if you miss the piece, you're pretty much screwed. Yeah.
It would be hard. All right, guys, let's talk about something else. Are you a fan of Bitmoji? Because apparently Ashley and I are. Well, now Facebook has its own version. They have an avatar version for Messenger. The social media giant just rolled out that for users in the US, Facebook describes them as digital personas that lets people engage with a personal, dynamic way. Avatars can be used in Facebook Messenger, comments, stories now, and even in gaming profiles. To create your own, just go to the comments on Messenger and click on the smiley face icon and select Make Your Avatar. You can personalize it to reflect your skin tone, facial features, and hairstyle. Mine has a backwards baseball cap on because if I'm not here at work, I usually have one on.
That is true.
You know, it's so funny the story came out because I always talk about my mom, but I was talking to my mom yesterday and she called me and she never had a Bitmoji and one popped up. I wish I had to show it because it looked nothing like her at all. I was like, Mom, are you using someone else's? Did you get confused? But yeah, ours are pretty good.
Yeah, you know, I got my side part and my freckles.
Yeah, and you're always winking at me.
I am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yes. All right, you guys, that's going to do it for This Is Now. Coming up to this afternoon, the governor is going to have an update for us regarding the state's response to the coronavirus. That's coming up at 2:30, so check it for that on our H&N digital platforms. We'll see you guys tomorrow on